After 10 lost ones, Charlize came over with her daughter Lena, and Shelley immediately became friends with her. Saxton had fired up the grill. Some from the record company came over. There were burgers, hot dogs, chips, and beer for the adults. The children ran around, shooting each other with water guns. Saxton stopped what he was doing long enough to watch them. His thoughts went back to when he and Monica used to play that way. In fact, Devonna reminded him a lot of Monica. He heard chatter around him from some of the adults, but was not paying much attention to their conversation until someone spoke directly behind him. It was Charlize. "What's on your mind, Saxton?" Her question snatched him out of reverie. She'd been watching the way he watched his younger siblings play.
Nothing. Just thinking about what I need to do with them.
She knew his comment was meant as a recovery method. She knew that he knew why she had asked him that she'd seen the way he watched them. So she decided to test him. "You want me to begin calling around again Monday morning?" By then, she was facing him. He placed the cover over the grill and found a seat in front of the pool. She followed.
For what? You already said that nobody has anybody by that name. Not the police stations, rehabs, morgue.
He took a swig from his drink. But something new happens in this world every day. There's a chance she could have turned up somewhere.
Not likely to happen within a few days, Charlize.
He kept watching the children play. She followed his eyes and couldn't help but to smirk.
What? What are you looking at?
He asked. She smiled. "Nothing. I'm just trying to be helpful here." Shelley came running towards them. She handed Saxon a picture she drew. "This is for you." He set his beer next to his chair and took the picture she'd drawn. There were 2 figures.
Oh, who is this?
"That's me, and that's you. That's when you spin me around."
Oh, this is very pretty. I like it.
Before running off, she gave him a hug. He could feel his heart swelling, almost bringing him to tears. "Bye," she said before leaving. Charlize watched with amusement. He looked at the picture again, and Charlize could see in his eyes that he was touched by his younger sister's gesture. Oscar sauntered over, took the seat on the other side of Saxton. "Hey, what's up, guy? Who are you writing for this month?" They slapped hands.
Leslie Price.
"Oh, well, you don't say, for real?"
Yeah, I have several songs for her new album.
"Man, you are phenomenal. How many times do you get paid every time someone covers one of your songs?"
I'm not allowed to reveal that information.
Saxon took another sip from his beer. Saxon was happy he'd taken Nina's advice and had a few friends over while the children were over for the weekend. This gave him a chance to reevaluate his new situation. He stared at the pictures Shelley had drawn of them. He suddenly heard Charlize and Devonna headed towards the kitchen, and he placed the drawing on top of the refrigerator quickly. Charlize stopped in her tracks when she realized it looked as if he had been crying. "Are you okay?" She held a tray of leftover food from the party.
Yeah, I'm okay. These allergies this time of year get to me.
Devonna set the paper plates down on the counter. "Allergies? I've known you for years. I never knew that about you."
That's because most of the time I get ahead of it. I ran out of allergy medicine.
Charlize glanced at Devonna. "I see. Where are the rest of the children?" "On the lower level watching a movie, Miss Charlize." "Oh, okay. I'll go down and get Lena."
No, you don't have to do that. Let her stay.
Charlize spun in his direction. Since when does Saxton Weller want yet another kid in his house? "Are you sure?"
Yes, it's late, Charlize. And you can stay too. Take one of the guest rooms.
"Saxton, I don't want to put you
You're not putting me out. I want you to stay.
He noticed Devonna had left the room. He closed the distance between him and Charlize. She stared into his beautiful eyes. He began leaning down so that his lips could meet hers.
Give it back.
Full
Give it
and
back.
sensual.
I said give it back. Give it back.
They suddenly heard Jack's voice. They quickly broke their embrace. Chalet came running into the kitchen, holding a book that belonged to her brother.
Give it back.
No, she
Give it
shouted,
back.
running
Give it
past the
back.
couple.
I said give it back. Hey, what's going on here?
Jack ran after the girl, but before he was able to get past Saxton, the older brother grabbed his arm.
I said what's going on here. She got my book and I want it back.
Chalet stood against the dishwasher with the book behind her back. She stuck out her tongue and said, "Say please."
I'm not going to say please. You're going to give it back.
He tried to get at her again, but Saxton would not let him pass.
Jack, you're older than she is. That don't mean she can take my stuff.
Once again, he tried to get at her, but Saxton kept stopping him.
Just say please, okay? Set a good example, man. How can you even say that? Do you set a good example for me?
Charlize sucked in her breath. By then, Devonna had returned to the kitchen. She and Charlize exchanged glances. Saxton had no comeback for his younger brother's statement. He knew he was correct in what he said.
Okay, if I promise to try and set a good example for you, would you say please?
Jack looked at his sister and said,
Okay, please.
She reluctantly handed him the book. He snatched it and hurried out of the kitchen. She stuck out her tongue again. Saxton took the chair at the small breakfast table and said,
Come here, Chalet.
She shuffled over to him in her bunny slippers that Nina had bought her earlier that week.
Now, I'm going to have to give you a lesson in how to treat others. You are not supposed to take what does not belong to you. And when someone asks you to give it back, what are you supposed to do?
She lowered her head.
Chalet, look at me, honey.
She looked up at him.
What are you supposed to do?
Give it back. She then began crying. It was as if she knew just how to affect him. Then he found himself embracing the youngster.
Okay. It's okay. I'm not mad at you, okay?
He looked up at the older sister and said,
I think she's tired. Take her up to bed now.
Okay. Thanks, Saxton.
You're welcome.
He stood, headed over to the sink, and stared out at the back terrace. You're really good with kids. He heard Charlize speak behind him. He turned around to look at her.
Well, she's just a kid, you know. Nobody has been teaching her.
No need to explain to me. You love those kids. He looked away.
I don't know them.
That has nothing to do with the power of love. Anyone can see you have a connection with them.
Where is this going, Charlize? What's the point?
Nowhere. It's going nowhere. And if your offer still stands, I'll go up to bed now. I'll see you in the morning. I know you don't go to church, so I'm sure you'll be asleep by the time I get up. With that, she left the room. Once she was gone, he released a sigh. His eyes landed on top of the refrigerator, and that's when he remembered he'd put Chalet's drawing up there. He grabbed it, turned off the downstairs lights, and headed up to his room. He closed the door and headed over to his dresser. He placed a picture on the mirror and stared at it.